Hello everybody. I'm making a video about two tapes I have from the Fox and Español range. And those are Cheaper by the Dozen, or Más Barato por Docena, and Anna and the King, or Ana y el Rey. So with these tapes, of course you have the 20th Century Fox and Español banner here at the top. And then at the bottom you have another banner saying Doblada al Español, subtitulada en inglés. And what that means is that the movie itself is dubbed in Spanish, and then you have English subtitles. I find this a bit odd because I feel it would make more sense to have it in English with Spanish subtitles or just dubbed in Spanish. But for these two tapes, at least, they are they are dubbed in Spanish and subtitled in English. I have another Fox VHS tape, this one of Emboscada, and this one is actually subtitled in Spanish. So it should be in its original language with Spanish subtitles. So it's a bit odd to see these two are dubbed in Spanish and they have with English subtitles. So, but without further ado, I'll go and show these tapes off a little bit more. Here's the spine. Again, it does say doblada al español, but it doesn't mention subtitulada in inglés. So it's kind of, I guess that is true. It is definitely dubbed in Spanish, but it just seems a bit odd. They don't say that it's also subtitled in English. But anyway, here's the back. Show you the tape real quick. Yeah, there's the print date if you want to see it. Yeah, there we go. Actually, there we go. February 23rd, 2004. And then I'll briefly show Anna and the King, or Ana y el Rey. And again, like Cheaper by the Dozen, it just says Doblada a la Española on the side. It doesn't say that it's also subtitled in English. There's the back. There. This is from, if I could focus, this is 2000 there. But anyway, it says it has a 2000 copyright down there. The film itself, it says 1999 on the label, but then you have another copyright for 2001. Yeah, copyright 2001, 20th Century Fox Entertainment. The tape itself was printed looks like August 2nd, 2002. So but anyway. So that's it. Going over these two tapes. Real quick though, I'm going to pull out my English copy of Cheaper by the Dozen. We'll compare that to this tape here. Okay, so here's the Spanish VHS next to the English one. The front covers, of course, they're not quite the same. They're fairly close, but not quite the same. Of course, you have the 20th Century Fox and Español banner at the top, and then the Doblada al Español subtitulada en inglés banner at the bottom. But otherwise, both of them are actually pretty close, except, of course, you do have the title in Spanish underneath the English title on the Spanish VHS. And then the critical quote is in Spanish on the Spanish VHS, while it's in English on the English one. Spines aren't quite the same. They're relatively close, although you'll notice that Steve Martin is actually shifted up a little more compared to the English version. Of course, you see the Spanish title in addition to the English one on the Spanish VHS. And then the Fox logo is different at the top. You have the regular, at least North American, 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment logo on the English one. On the Spanish one, it's a bit different. You'll actually notice the Fox logo on the Spanish VHS is closer in appearance to what you might see on an international release, like this German VHS of the whole 9 yards. Okay, so I flipped these tapes over to their backs, and you'll notice they look pretty similar, but they're a little different. Of course, you know, the synopsis is in Spanish on the Spanish VHS. This critical quote down here is translated into Spanish too. Two Thumbs Up is translated into Spanish as well in the Spanish VHS. And then you'll notice here, this little bit is pretty close in terms of how it's written, except, of course, minutes is translated into minutos. You also notice that the credits themselves, at least for the most part, are translated into Spanish, except for the title. The title is still in English, even though there is a Spanish title, which is Más Barato por Docena. I don't know why they didn't use that, but maybe it's because they're making a... What's the word? Oh my goodness. They're likely trying to make the English title more prominent than the Spanish one, and maybe just the Spanish title is more so like a translation rather than the actual title. Anyway. And then the rating down here, the content description is translated into Spanish. Of course, it's in English on the English one. You'll notice that the Canadian ratings of the Canadian home video rating and the Quebec rating, which is that's the Régie du Cinéma, their rating is on the Spanish VHS, like it is on the English one, which is a bit surprising because this tape, I'm not sure if too many copies were sold in Canada. I think this tape was mainly intended to be sold in the United States. But anyway, of course, closed caption symbol is still present, except the closed caption text is not present on the Spanish VHS. And even the info about the actually, in fact, the Dolby logo doesn't appear to be present at all on the box for the English VHS, but it's present on the Spanish one. And you'll also notice, of course, text down here is translated into Spanish. Copyright is also written in Spanish too. The little copyright notice there. Also, as different website addresses are also mentioned. You have cheaperbythedozenvideo.com on the English one, but then you have foxenespanol.com on the Spanish VHS. So although the backs are somewhat similar, they're also a little different. So now let's move on to the tapes. All right, now I have the tapes out of the boxes, and you'll notice they look identical as far as the labels are concerned. The labels are the same. Here's the English one. Here's the Spanish one. Yeah, they look the same. However, you can spot the difference between the two. Just look down here. The Spanish one does make mention, at least on my copy, that it is the Spanish one. The English one, it just has the title, Cheaper by the Dozen, at least for my copy anyway. And of course, I already mentioned the print date for the Spanish VHS. It's February 23rd, 2004. And then the print date for the English one is March 3rd, 2004. I do want to mention that both these tapes do share the same trailers at the start, before the movie, and the trailers on the Spanish VHS are actually still in English. They didn't dub the trailers into Spanish, and Spanish subtitles also weren't provided. All right, that's it with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed what I made for you, and I look forward to making another video soon.